we're going to give it a little bit of a clean up, and then we can have a look as well to see if we can stick a bolt to hold that engine plate in, because the whole thing's all loose, look, and it's all dirty. I've run out of degreaser. I normally use degreaser to clean things like this because this is all grease and oil and dirt. I've run out of that, but I've got the stuff I use on the bikes, Urban Bicycle Cleaner, so let's give this a go. It's supposed to wash it off afterwards, but we probably might get the hose pipe out. So let's spray a load of this over all with it. Get it on the brake disc, we'll get it everywhere, and we'll see if it works all right on the bicycle. So I'm assuming it will work all right on this. We've got a lot of grass wrapped up around these drive shafts, so might have to go and crack a knife out. We'll see. Might be alright. It always wraps itself around the back drive shafts more than the front ones. We'll get all that off, most of it at the very least. Got some more here on this other one. Might have to go and get a knife and just slice along it. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a pickle, but we'll worry about that later on. Let's soak this in this bike cleaner. Should take the nitro tank off as well, really, so I can get behind it, but I won't worry about that for now. Let's just soak it all, and then we'll get all underneath it with the servos there, so we've got to be careful of that. Don't know if that Savox servo is waterproof or not. And then what I've got a toothbrush. I've also got it's one of the big detailing brushes I use for cars. I've got a spare one, so I'll sort of agitate it a little bit and see if it will break it up. It's supposed to start doing its work once you spray it on. I mean, it works well on the bikes, but the bikes aren't for the grease and oil, they're just muddy, you know. This is all oil and grease, nitro fuel, and you know, all that kind of stuff. Right, that stuff weren't working very well at all, so I've got a tin of this gunk. It's very bloody good stuff, this. Use this all the time to degrease engines, real engines. I've had this is a tin I've had on the back of the shelf for probably about 25 years. Well, not maybe, yeah, maybe about 25 years. When I was probably about 11, 12. I used to repair a lot of engines, lawnmower engines, play around with them, that kind of thing. And my dad was always buying me this gunk, and I've been buying the new stuff since. But this, I found this on the back of the shelf not so long ago, and I thought to myself, bloody hell, that's been there a long time. Anyway, let's shake it out. Hopefully it's still got its degreasing properties. It's got a little spout in there. Sometimes they snap off though. No, that's alright. It's brush on stuff. So if we put it in this bucket, I better get my brush, look, and I better brush it all on, and it'll hopefully soak in and do a little bit of degreasing for me. With any luck. So, quite honestly, that was the very first time I've ever used water or a hose pipe to clean a Nitro car. I usually just don't bother cleaning them. Or if I do, I spray a bit of brake cleaner all over it and then just blow it off with a bit of air. Job done. Anyway, thought I'd make a change. And while we're here, let's do this engine, shall we? I'm not going to go bonkers with it, but we're just going to stuff it in an ice cream tub. And, oh no, I told you these snap off a lot of the time. Yeah, there we go. It was only a matter of time. Only took 25 years. See, even on the new ones, these spouts, not just with gunk, but with other things as well, these spouts, they do snap off a lot of the time. Anyway, let's pour a bit of that in there. And just get it everywhere while we're at it. And, yeah, let's try and get some of the grease, gunk. We're putting gunk on to get gunk off. Yeah. And then we'll blow it off with a bit of air afterwards. I've left the exhaust on because I couldn't be bothered to take it off, and I could bung it with a bit of paper or something like that, but no, we'll leave it on. No harm in leaving it on. We've got to try and sort the clutch out as well, because there's a lot of play in that. I didn't have any bearings in the clutch at all for years and years. And then one day I went to what was my local model shop at the time, an hour away it was, and it was in Hockley, and it was called Active Scale Models. They're shut down now, unfortunately. Went through a couple of different owners, and they just couldn't make it work, so they had to shut down. Something to do with couldn't find a suitable building or some other bollocks, don't really know. But anyway, when it was with the previous owners, I went there. And I took this engine with me, and I can't remember what I was asking for now. I was asking for something. Oh, pull start, that was it, because the pull starter snapped. And I said, I need a pull start for this engine. And he looked at it and he went, got no bearings in your bell, in your clutch bell. I said, yeah, I've not been in there for years. So he gave me a pair of bearings when I bought the pull start off of them. He gave me a set of bearings and all, so I put the bearings in, but I just put I put a split washer and a couple other bits on there to try and, because the bolt come out once upon a time and I lost the bolt, so I just jammed another bolt in there that sort of does the job, but it's a bit long, so I just space it out with a load of washers, you know what I mean? But it does the job, it's fine. Anyway, that's spick and span now. That's like the day it come out of the factory. Look at that. We've also got the bolts that hold the engine in, so they're nice and clean now. Look at that. They're the cleanest they've ever been in their lives. When these come out of the factory from being freshly milled, they didn't know what was going to hit them. You know, they didn't know that I was going to come along and clean them 25 years after they've been made, you know. Now look at them. Oh. So clean they want to run away. Do you know what I mean? That one's not even an original one. That's one that I had to put in because one of the original ones ran away once, and now I've had to replace it. Couldn't find it, you know. So I'll keep that degreaser for another day. Always reuse it, never waste it. I won't put it back in the tin though, because I'm a weird. Some people pour it back in the tin. But the way I see it, then you've got clean degreaser and you've got dirty degreaser that still degreases. I like to keep the clean degreaser for when I need a clean degreaser, and I've got a tub of dirty degreaser for when I need a bit of dirty degreaser. So clean, dirty, don't mix them. You can mix them if you want, it's up to you. I don't. And the trouble is I end up with tubs of degreaser everywhere, and I think, what's in that tub? And I forget what's in it. And then I'm like, well, what's in the blooming tub? Right, just got one of my shirts out the wardrobe. Make sure we clean up, you know. Oh, that's a screw. That might do well. I need a screw for that engine plating. Right. Okay, Wheelspin Raceway. Hopefully at some point there'll be a Nitro track there. And if there is ever a Nitro track there, you know where you'll find me. Probably not there. Maybe there. Right. Let's go and get the truck. Oh no, that's it. Let's go and blow this off with a bit of air. Then I'll go and get the truck and then we'll put it all back together again. Right, first things first, let's address, we've got a screw missing from there, but I found a screw there, so that might fit. Don't know if you can see, there's a screw, there's 4 screws in the bottom of that plate. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one there's missing, so that's not going to be helping the old wobbly engine plate situation. This may well be the screw that was meant to be in there, I don't know, I found it on the bench. So let's try and jam that in there. It does. I've got cuts on my fingers and I've got degreaser in them and they're stinging like no tomorrow. So I'm just gonna scream in the background, if you don't mind, now and again, and we'll go from there. That screw kind of goes in there. It's not the best. It doesn't really like it. But it is going in. That is sharp. That's it. Now it's going in. Probably had a bit of grit in it or something. Is that one tight? Yeah, we'll just assume they're all tight, because that's cutting my fingers to shreds. Look at that. Right. Now we've got bolt there, bolt there. There's a bolt missing from there, but we'll ignore that one. I know I said I was going to replace them all, but we're not. I've got to be here all day if I do that. The main ones that are missing is that one there and that one there. They hold this chassis. See that? They hold the chassis. There's one there, but that doesn't work. Don't worry about that. So I have got a tin. I've got a tub of bolts, new ones, but we'll have a look through the reliable bolt drawer first, because this very often saves the day. Like, oh, what is that one? Is that going to be a good one? It's got the wrong type of head on it. It's got a very fat bell, a very fat head I mean, but if it threads in, then it will do the job. We don't care necessarily what it looks like, if it does the job, which it does. It should be a screw really, but that has done the job. So that's holding that engine, that part of the plate in. Now we just need to find another one the same as that. Now, as I say, I have got a little tub and it's got HPI bolts and stuff in it, but I don't want it, because it's a new tub of bolts, I don't want to start using it yet. So I'm going through my drawer of trusty bolts and we'll see what we find. That's a screw, but it's a bit longer. What's this one? This one's a screw as well. That's a screw, not a bolt, that's a screw, but it might do us. Let's use my trusty long screwdriver. If I can get it in there past the wheel. Yeah. Is that going to thread in? Oh yes. Oh yes. See? Them bolts have been missing for bloody donkey's years, and now look at them. They're all in. There's one missing from there, one missing from there, but we'll ignore them. They're not important. Right. So now our engine plate is in one place and it's all in there. We're about to get the mesh. The one and only reason why I've replaced those bolts, because there was only this side one bolt holding it in. So it all kind of moved around, and you could bolt the engine obviously to that plate, but the plate goes up and down and left and right and all that, which means it messes up your mesh. And so you had to do it really tight, otherwise it would come away and go back and go. So if you did it really tight, it would be fine, but it was far too tight. It didn't really affect the way that it was running this morning when I took it out, but it's not good to have really tight mesh, because it will wear the gears away, plus put pressure on everything. Obviously it's got side pressure going on everything, the bells, the bearings, the gears, the spur, everything. But it will also create a lot of heat and friction on that spur, and because it's plastic against metal, it can melt them. It's in the melt before. So you're supposed to have just enough so that when the teeth mesh together, they go in, but there's a tiny little gap at the bottom of the tooth, if you know what I mean, the ditch thing. Tiny little gap, just a minute gap, but so it doesn't go. It's supposed to just roll freely, and yeah, not a little small amount of backlash. As I think some people call it backlash. I just call it nothing. It's just it is there. That's it. Don't worry about it. Come up with names for stuff for no reason. Just leave them alone. They didn't ask to be named, did they? I mean, who decided that was a good idea? Right. So let's put that round there like that. I know the roll bar's bent. I don't care. That happened once many years ago, but it works perfectly fine. So we'll just ignore it. The brakes are working all right, but they've probably got a lot of grease and degreaser still on them, so we'll have to ignore that for another day. Right, here's our engine. Oh, we was going to have a look at that bell, weren't we? That's what we were going to do. Okay, let's put that on the floor for a moment. So, we'll zoom in a little bit on the old engine. There we go. Now, I explained earlier on about the situation with the bearings. So anyway, I put bearings in it that they gave me, but because I lost the bolt's too long, and it does that. So it's been like that for donkey's years now. It's no trouble. I could keep running it like it, but as soon as I've got it out, I thought we'd have a little look at it, and if I can't find enough washers or a shorter bolt, then I'll just put it back how it was, because it don't really bother me in the slightest. So I've got a split washer. What I spaced it out with a miniature washer, a fabric washer, and a split washer. That's what I spaced it out with all that time ago. Back in, don't know when it was, 2006 or 7 or something. Our clutch looks quite worn. It's starting to wear on the springs, as you can probably see there, which is brilliant. That's great. So we'll there's a bearing, so we'll ignore that. Just going to blow. There's a lot of degreaser gone in there, so I'm just going to blow that off with a bit of air. Right, I'll have to clean around the inside of the bell as well. I've not got any degreaser. I haven't got any brake cleaner. I've run out. I've got to go to the shop and buy some more. Okay, that was in there. Yeah, I've got to go to the shop and buy some more brake cleaner. Otherwise, I'll clean the inside of these bell out with a brake cleaner. Otherwise, but yeah. The only thing is, I've got my brake cleaner sprayer thing, but it must have a hole in it, because you put brake cleaner in it, and then overnight it evaporates. I mean, the old one I had before, it got run over by something, but that was a good one. You put brake cleaner in it, pump it up, psst, and you could have it in there for weeks and it wouldn't evaporate. It's brilliant. But this new one I've got, it doesn't matter how, you've got a seal on it, it doesn't matter. It evaporates. So you only put a little bit in that you want to use. And, well, I put quite a lot in because I was doing a job on a horse box. And I didn't use it all, but I forgot about it, left it in the van. And it evaporated and I was well upset. So anyway, that's bloody whole bottle of brake cleaner just evaporated overnight. Right, let's have a look in here. So we need a shorter bolt. That's the bolt that we had holding it together. We want a shorter one because that one's a bit long, really. So, because then if I get a shorter bolt, it means I haven't got to space it out so much with all the washers and other bits and bobs, you know. So we'll look for a slightly shorter bolt. Tell you what, we'll tip these out. We'll tip these out and see what we got going on. Ah, that's a screw though. That's a servo screw. That might not be much cop. I like having an Allen bolt so that I can jiminy it a bit tighter, you know. Ah, what's that one? Where's the bolt that we had? What's that one? That's exactly the same length. So that one's no good. Keep that one aside because that's the one we had. And if I can't find one, oh look, there's a grub screw. That's a grub screw that will go in the gearbox in the new Savage. I reckon that'll just be about the right size, don't you? Slightly bigger than the one that's in there. Yeah, I don't think that one will come loose. It'll never focus either. Must be gay or something. What's the matter with it? Come on, John. There we go. Anyway. Got this one here. No, that's even longer than that one. If you can see one that you think might fit, let me know, yeah? Just shout. I might be able to hear you. Sometimes I can hear people shouting. I think, what's that in the background? But, yeah, you never know. Dear me. This might take a while, you know. What's that one? Oh, it's far too long. Far too long, Johnny boy. John, oh, there's a new clutch shoe there. I suppose, oh, I've got another one. Look. There's only 2 shoes on there. I suppose while I'm here, I could put 2 new clutch shoes on it, couldn't I? Because the ones on it slightly, no, I don't think so either. No, what was I thinking? Don't know. I don't know what come over me then, really, to be honest. Do you reckon that one fit? Bit short. This is going to take a while, won't it, really? I think I might just go down the route of washing it out, you know what I mean? Spacing it out, John boy. Hello there, John. Another washer there, that's a bit big though. Ah, there you go. That's a space, that's a good little spacer, that one there. You can see it. What's that one? It's a bit small, but we can put that aside as well. We'll just space it out. I'm not going to keep looking for bloody bolts that are a bit shorter than that one. We'll just space it out. Oh, what's that? No, that's too small. There probably is bolts and screws and that in this thing, but I'm not going to bother with it. We've got one that fits. We just have to put some more washers behind it and have a happy life. You know what I mean? It's not worth worrying about. Even though I am still looking through the drawer. No, we'll leave it. Right, there's the bell end. Let's put that bearing back in there. So we've got both bearings that we had before. That goes on there like that. And then let's, that's massive, that one, that's no good. Well, I could use that one. Should I? Yeah, we'll put that one. And then we'll go with that one. No, that's no good after all, it's too small. What about this one here? Yep, that's alright, look, nice little one. And then that little fabric one, yep. And then our split washer, oh perfect. That looks like that might do quite a good job. Then we'll screw that down in there. Like that. Jeep, 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 jeep. Oh, washing machine's finished, is it? Gonna go and tend to the washing machine. Right, washing done and hung out. Yeah. Some people's wives come and find them for some hanky panky. Mine finds me to tell me the washing machine's done and I need to hang it out. Okay, no problem. Right, how's this doing? We don't want it to be too tight. It should spin more than that, right? That bolt that's tight, alright? I know it's tight because I held that flywheel when I done it up. That should really, it spins quite freely, look. But it should go a little bit more than that if I'm being fussy. But you lot know me by now. I am the complete opposite of fussy. So that's good enough for me. It's not moving in and out anymore, and it does spin quite freely. What you'll have is, if it doesn't spin freely and the bearings are too tight, like that's too tight on that, what'll happen is, when the engine's running and the flywheel's going, the bell end will be trying to spin as well, so it might try and drive. But the other thing is, it'll put pressure on the bearings and it'll wear them out prematurely, as well as pressure on everything else. So you know, you don't want them touching, but that's good enough for me. I really don't care how they are, to be fair. It's just as long as it doesn't fall apart and it works, really. That's all I care about. So you know, my view is don't try and chase bloody perfection, because there is no perfection. Do you know what I mean? There just isn't. You spend years and you spend all your time trying to chase this perfection, get things to be perfect, and it's just not worth it. And especially with something like that, because you know that will wear, and it'll probably, you know, change anyway. You know, so we don't worry about things like that over at HRC headquarters. We don't worry about that. So let's pick up all these little washers and nuts and bolts and things. Oh, stick that there. Right. Got all the bolts in now. Hopefully we'll be able to get a good bit of mesh. Oh, you're still very zoomed in, aren't you? My apologies for that. There we go. That should be better for you. Right, now let's put that through there. We'll put the tank on last because there's no need to have that on really. We'll put the little piece of the little stuff holding the exhaust on. Just, all that is MIG wire. Because when I put this exhaust on, but it's not. I can't remember the reason now. It don't fit very well. So I had to make up a mount. So I just used MIG wire. Just a bit of wire. Put it through it. Bend it a bit. Have a happy life. And move on, you know. So we'll put that. There is a proper mount for it, but I just haven't got it. Right, there we go. So there's our engine. Now let's turn it on its side, and something's fallen off. What was that? Oh, it's just a stone. That was good. And we get our 3mm Allen driver. Now, there's many ways that people choose to set their mesh and do this. Obviously, once you've got your mesh set, you can take your engine out if you have to with the top bolts. But be careful with them because they do sometimes round off. Even if you've got, because people always seem to moan about the quality of HPI. Oh, that's not even in there. People always seem to moan about the quality of HPI's nuts and bolts, you know. I hear people a lot of the time on the forums and other places moaning about, oh, HPI's nuts and bolts or hardware, if you're American, is poor quality and the heads just round off easily. Well, it may be so. I'm not going to say whether it is or it isn't, because any Allen bolt, any screw, you know, any nut or bolt can round. It's as simple as that. But if you've got a decent tool, you know, that's got a decent fit on it, because I think a lot of the trouble is people have very poor quality tools. If you have a poor quality spanner that doesn't fit the bolt or the nut, it might be slightly too big, or it might just be soft, so that when you try and put any pressure on it, it moves and it rounds the nut off, or the head of the bolt or the nut. Same for Allen keys and Allen drivers. If you've got poor quality Allen drivers, they won't fit very well in the thing. They might feel like they fit well, and you think, oh, that's a good fit, I've got a good fit in there. But if these are soft metal because you've got poor quality ones, then you know, you are going to round heads off. The thing is, it's controversial when it comes to tools, because I am an advocate for, you don't need to spend a massive amount of money on tools. I mean, for example, people spend a fortune on snap-on and things like that, but you do need to find a medium, and it does pay to buy good quality tools, because they are, although they're expensive, I know people have obviously got their things with snap-on or places like that, or if we're talking about RC, you've got MIP and Hoodie. They're the two leading ones in my opinion, MIP being the absolute best. You can pay like 50 quid just for one of these. Just a 3mm Allen driver is about 50 quid, right? But if you can afford that, get it, because that'll last a lifetime, and I think they've got a lifetime guarantee, but I'm not 100% sure. I know Snap-on has, that's why people buy it, because if it breaks they just replace it. Halfords is the same. I buy Halfords tools for the real cars because lifetime guarantee. Everything's good quality. Your ratchet breaks, you just go there, they give you a new one, no receipt required. I don't know if Mitch do the same. There might be some people that be able to tell us. Anyway. Right, that is a reasonable bit of mesh there now. Now it does sometimes move when you tip it on its side to do the engine, to do one or two of the bolts up. But we just nip them up a little bit. Ah, it's gone tight, see? So what we do, what I do now, I know where we are, so I simply just nip them off, push the engine down, nip it up. There we go. I'll say that was alright. It's in there. Right. There we go. Do them up. Some people put thread lock on them. Some people don't. I don't, because I hate trying to get them out afterwards. Anyway, there we go. Now what's the last thing we need to do? We've got good mesh now, good gearbox, that's working alright. Oh, where's the linkage gone? Oh, I must have dropped it outside, hang on. That was lucky. Throttle linkage, it was outside on the stones where I was earlier. Right, that goes on there. Throttle linkage. Now, a bit of an issue with this tank. So the bit of pipe that feeds it, the ends of it, they've gone big. Alright. I could just put a new bit of pipe on. But I'm going to see if I can get away with not putting a new bit of pipe on, because fuel pipe is expensive. Alright. So what we'll do is we'll put that like that. It might be a bit short now though, that's the only thing. I don't know, we'll have to see. That goes on there. Now that should go underneath like that. Now I think we're going to be alright. I think we're going to be alright. Might not be. I think we will. Trying to do it left-handed, wrong hand. Bear with me, you lot, bear with me. I can hear you. Sandra, I'm sorry, Sandra. I know. There we go. That's on there now, and that's a good fit now, because that was a bit of a problem before. Sometimes it'd pop off, and you know, it wouldn't be hard when you're out and about in a field or whatever, just put it back on again. But yeah, sometimes it'd pop off and you cut out and you have to walk over, put the bit of pipe back on, re-prime, fire up and go again. But that's alright, we've just mended that after God knows how many years. There we go. Now we've got fully working. Now let's make sure that nothing's changed with our throttle, and also while we're there, make sure that we ain't got any water in our radio or nothing. That works. Throttle, brake. A bit of an issue with our throttle, look. Keeps opening up again. I don't think you can see that or not. That shouldn't be doing that. I don't think it was doing it. Oh, it's because we're on Marder. Ah, I tried to start up the Marder earlier. This works. There we go. That's what we want. That's better. Still opens it up a little bit though. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to we want to go throttle, steering, shouldn't really be like that because it's all the way up on the throttle. Shouldn't really be like that, but it kind of just is how it is. So we'll leave it there. So that gets us full throttle, and it doesn't open up the throttle when we come off the brakes. Now the brakes, they are working now, which is good. Let's do that little thing up. I had to put an extended piece of pipe on there a while ago because it was a bit dicky. They do work. And the thing is, they come in. See, what needs to happen is on the calipers, where that rod goes in, that's what moves the calipers. It's like a little cam, and it kind of just goes like that, and it moves the caliper, closes it up. And really, I need to move it around one, and then that rod will be more straighter. And then when you pull the brakes, it will, because at the minute it's at too much of an angle. So whenever you pull the brakes, it doesn't really do anything because it's at its full angle there. So I need to make it so that it's more, so its normal ticking over, its normal position is more that sort of angle, but that's full throttle at the minute, but it needs to be more that sort of angle, and that'll do it a bit better. But we'll ignore that for now because I don't really care about it, to be fair. Alright. As long as that's freewheeling, brakes are on a little bit, but that doesn't matter. And then the brakes, they do come on, they do work, so we'll just ignore that as much as we possibly can. And yeah, nice. There we go. Working, happy, everyone's alive, nothing's gone wrong. That goes to brakes, failsafe, great. Yeah, there we go. One Savage 21. Now, the reason why I've been playing around with this one is because this is the one. And as I said before, you know, I think HPI should make an anniversary, not an anniversary, an anniversary edition. I don't know what anniversary it will be. I think, when did it come out? 2002 to 2027. Is that 25 years? Something like that? They should do one, right? And it'll be exactly as a 21, no modern modifications, a 21 radio tray lid, 21 suspension, red suspension, everything as the 21 was when it was new. The 21 shell, I think it should be this colour scheme, you know, this design, and you know, maybe have anniversary edition 25 years or whatever many years it'll be, and obviously it's got to be a 21 engine. There's no point in putting a 4.6 or something in it and going, hey, it's a beefed up 20, because it's not then, is it? It's not 21. So it should have an original engine, should be exactly the blueprints of what a 21 was when it first came out, the first ever Savage in 2002. I think a lot of people would buy it. I would buy one. I don't buy new cars. I know I bought a new 4.6, but that's just for you lot. That's all that was for, just for you lot. This is the way, this is what should be next. So HPI, if one of your little people over at HPI there happens to be watching, I think that'd be a good idea. I think people, and don't do a kit. Whatever you do, no kits. Nobody likes kits. Nobody wants to build something, you know, ready to run. Yeah, because that's how you're going to get people. You're never going to get people with kits. Nobody wants a kit. Ready to run. That way people can just buy it, put it on the floor, run it, have a happy life. Ain't got to build it first. Anyway, there we go. Thanks for watching, you lot. And don't let people take you for granted. As I say, now and again, it's nice just to have a little play around with one of your original cars. And this one's a good one. I'll see you lot later on. All the best. Chill out, relax, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. I love the smell of this stuff. Gunk. Brings me back to being 12 again. It really does, man. It's like, I used to sit there. I used to have real car engines in my garage when I lived at home with mum and dad. Real car engine there, on an engine stand. Bit of gunk. Clean it all up, paint it red, you know. Feels like I'm 12 again.